All rise. Hear you. Criminal Court of Davidson County Division 5 is now in session. All persons having been before this court, draw nigh, give attention, and ye shall be heard. God bless the United States, the state of Tennessee, as this honorable court. Honorable Matthew Watkins presiding. Please be seated.
Morning, everybody.
I'll call.
I could call.
And Judge, I just want to remind the court before we bring the jury in, there was that issue of that one photograph I had to submit to the court.
I didn't forget that. Let me see what you have. Some hold up.
Hold up.
Yeah, just one moment. They can hold up in the hallway.
Your Honor, as we stated earlier, our purpose for showing this is not just to show the pattern imprint that's smaller and the larger right-angled print, but also to show the positioning of her face on her hair, as well as the positioning of her top of her body on a pile of clothing, which is relevant given the defense cross-examination regarding transfer of trace evidence. And so we have cropped out, obviously for the record, the entire forehead, the eyes, and the nose, leaving only visible the mouth, cheek, and shoulder area and hair, which would show the relative positions of the body.
All right. The objection is duly noted. All right, let's move forward.
All rise.
All right, please be seated. Morning, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to call the roll and get started. All right, Madam Clerk. All right, everybody's here and accounted for. All right, space, next witness.
Be Miss Lynette Mace.
Do you swear to tell the truth, so help you God?
I do. Would you please introduce yourself to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury?
I'm Lynette Mace. I work for the Metro Nashville Police Department, Forensic Services, Crime Scene Investigation Section.
And are you a sworn police officer?
No, I'm a civilian.
How long have you been in that position?
Over 13 years.
Can you tell us a little bit about your educational background and your training, specifically as it relates to your job?
I'll give you the abridged version. Have a criminal justice degree from Middle Tennessee State University. Let's see, graduate of the NFA, which is the National Forensics Academy at University of Tennessee. Specialize in bloodstain pattern analysis and trajectory, really. That's the abridged version.
Can you explain for the ladies and gentlemen of the jury a little bit about what your day-to-day job entails?
The easy definition is to document, collect, and preserve evidence at crime scenes.
And how many civilian employees work with the Metro Crime Laboratory or Identification Unit?
I hope I don't miss anybody, but I think there's 9 of us.
And do you work specific shifts, or are you subject also to call out?
Well, it depends on who you are, but I work specific shift and subject to call out.
Now, were you working in this capacity back on August the 10th of 2017?
Yes.
Did you have an occasion to be called out to a crime scene at Lot C2 at 1229 Old Dickerson Pike?
Yes.
And was that here in Davidson County?
Yes.
When you arrive on the scene of a crime scene, are you the first officer or first Metro personnel on the scene, or is
Absolutely not. We're almost last.
And when you arrive at the scene, has it been secured at that point?
Yes.
How do you know to respond to a location?
We're dispatched just like police officers are dispatched.
And when you arrived on the scene in particular, Can you describe how you go about making decisions on how to document and how to collect certain evidence?
Well, it depends on the nature of the scene and what I'm dealing with on this particular scene. The scene was secure. I talked to several officers that were present at the time. I made entry into the trailer and made the decision that it was going to be a DNA case, most likely, and limited access at that point.
Can you explain what you mean by limited access? How do you limit access?
So when you get on a scene, depending on what's going on, people want to walk through and see, especially people from different divisions, youth services, criminal investigations, additional crime scene units. So I made the call that that wasn't going to happen on this one. It was too sensitive.
And is that something where you actually may have ruffled a couple of feathers of people?
I ruffled a few.
But you limited and shut down the access to the scene?
I did.
When you go into the scene, how do you decide where to begin your collection and documentation?
Well, the general rule is least invasive to most invasive. So you start as gently as you possibly can, which means overall photographs and doing that, and then you work to the more disturbing of the scene process. So you try to not disturb anything until you absolutely have to.
And do you have other personnel that assist you in collection, measurements, transporting of the property to the secured property room?
Absolutely.
And was that done in this particular case?
It was.
Do you actually work as a team?
Yes.
In addition to collecting evidence and taking photographs, do you prepare what's commonly referred to as a crime scene diagram in certain major cases?
Yes.
And was one done in this particular case?
It was.
If I may hand you this 5-page document and ask if you recognize that.
That's a copy of the final diagram. 4 pages. 5 pages, yes.
Your Honor, at this time we would ask to introduce as an exhibit the 5-page crime scene diagram and ask permission to publish to the jury.
All right, number 26. Oh, I see it. 27.
I'm showing you what is page 1 of item 27, exhibit 27. If you could, first of all, let's zoom down in here to this bottom section. Can you explain what you mean by the phrase "not to scale"?
It's not to scale, meaning, so, for example, this room right here shows that it's 14 foot 2 inches wide, while this room shows it's 15.4. They may actually, if you measured it on paper, be the same, but the measurements are there. It's not to scale.
And I think you also have another disclaimer to the right regarding all measurements are approximate. What do you mean by that?
All measurements are approximate, meaning I shoot these measurements with a laser. Sometimes I might use a different measuring device. They may vary 1/10 of an inch every yard or something. It's just not, it's not absolute.
If you could, describe for us what we are looking at here on this first page. You can touch the screen and walk us through this diagram.
Sure. So this is basically a footprint of the trailer located at C2. This is the porch area walking in. The front door would be right here. This area right here is a hallway. The majority of my scene is this bedroom, which was designated bedroom 2 later. Next to it's going to be bathroom 1, and then there's an additional bedroom right here. The living room area, you'll see photographs of later. Dining room, there's a laundry room here. Off this laundry room, there's a back door right there. And then master bedroom and bathroom number 2.
I'm now showing you what is page 2 of exhibit 27. If you could explain this page of your diagram.
So the bedroom that I talked about before, designated bedroom number 2, this is just a closer view of that bedroom. And then, so over here, all this stuff right here is basically triangulation for these numbers you see here that are designated markers. You'll see later in photographs. And then this is a legend telling you what each one of these numbers corresponds to. For example, number 6 that's right here on the bed is going to be a chip bag.
Now, going back to the left-hand column of measurements, can you explain what you mean by the concept of triangulation and why that is used in your diagram?
Sure. So basically what we do when we measure in evidence is we make a triangle. So you see reference points E and D that are actually the corners of this window right here. That's a known measurement. So that's going to be like the base of our triangle, if you will. And then we shoot measurements, for example, let's use number 6 again. So from reference point D, which is right here, to number 6 on the bed, measured at 4 foot 11 inches, and then reference point E to number 6, 3 foot 10 inches, and then you have this known right here for your 2 reference points, so you're basically making a triangle. You can place something back where it came from.
Now, if you could, and I know we'll have the photographs in a few moments, but could you orient the jury with what is documented as it relates to bedroom number 2?
What's documented in bedroom number 2 is, of course, the size of it, our 2 reference points, the position of our victim to the left of the bed here, and then again, all these numbers designate a piece of evidence that was documented and later collected. Also on the wall right here, because we didn't do what we call an exploded diagram, I'm showing you where stain number 1 was on the wall in reference to the victim, the closet, and the dresser.
And there's a photograph where that stain that you're speaking about has a corresponding marker that has S1 on it.
Absolutely.
Now, can you give us from your diagram what the approximate size of this room is?
So from the door jamb, entering from the hallway, back to this wall was 8 foot 10 inches, and then from this corner of the room, measured 1410.
And you may or may not remember, but do you know what size mattress this was?
It was large for the room. I want to say it was at least a queen.
Moving on to page 3 of Exhibit 27, if you could explain this diagram.
Okay, we're back to a footprint view of the trailer. I don't know how to make this zoom in. I'll do the best I can here. Okay. All right, so what I'm showing you here is basically what was collected from outside the trailer. So marker number 2 is right here. Marker number 3 here. And way over here is marker number 1. And again, the legend over here will show you what each one of those correlates to, the measurements taken for triangulation on each one of those. In conjunction with that, this shows you reference points. So you have A and B, and then Y, Z, X, W. You have groups of reference points. There's C right there. So, yeah.
Let me ask you, first of all, about exhibit or marker number 1, the latex type glove.
Right.
Can you tell the situation with that and how that ended up being in your diagram and later in photographs that you're exhibiting?
Well, they were in a location that we wouldn't expect to find them. So, of course, they were of interest to us. And going least invasive to most invasive, we're on the exterior of the trailer, so that's where we start, hence why it's designated marker number 1. It was already marked and documented as potential evidence when we learned that it was actually gloves belonging to a patrol officer responding to the scene.
And was that actually on some type of trash can that was used to wrap the secure crime scene tape?
Yeah, the crime scene tape was connected over there, but what I didn't put in the diagram because it wasn't relevant, well, there's another trailer that sits right here.
And given that you had already marked it as a piece of evidence, when you learned the source of the gloves, did you still keep and include all that information in your photographs as well as your diagram?
Absolutely. Once it's been designated a number and it's been documented, that's it. We got it.
Very good. Now showing you what is page number 4 of Exhibit 27. You can explain what we're looking at here.
So, same concept, just we've narrowed down part of the trailer. So, bedroom number 2, bedroom number 1, bathroom number 1, and the living area is all that's encompassed in this particular diagram. Again, legend over here with marker numbers corresponding with the marker numbers that are located inside the scene there, and then your triangulation measurements.
Did you actually have these items collected or collect them on August 10th of 2017?
Those items were collected, I'm going to say, I believe it was the 13th, the second trip out there.
And were you requested at various points to come back to the secured scene and collect or photograph, examine certain items?
Yes, this was actually a call-out situation where they wanted me to come back on a Sunday, and then I went back, I believe, on the 16th as well.
And the crime scene, when you arrived each time, was still being supervised by a police officer and had crime scene taken around it?
Yes, the perimeter was still secured, yes.
So all of the items of evidence that you're collected on different days, you're documenting on this particular document?
Yes.
And showing you lastly page 5 of Exhibit 27, could explain, please?
Yeah, so this is the second half of the footprint from the one we saw just previously. Kitchen, and then the laundry room, master bedroom, and bathroom number 2.
Now, was there in particular a master bathroom window that you took several photographs of?
Yes, it's actually located right here in this bathroom.
And where would the bedroom where the victim was located, if I put that up here for you, the overall, if you can show on the diagram approximately where the window was,
Approximately.
master bathroom, and then where the victim's bedroom was.
Oops. So the window is located right here in this area on the left side, and then the victim's bedroom's located far right down here.
Now, we've mentioned photographs. You did take several photographs in this particular case, correct?
Yes.
And you had an opportunity to review some of those photographs
Yes.
while you've been waiting to testify. And did those photographs fairly and accurately depict the scene as you saw it that day?
Yes.
Ask you if you could just flip through the first couple. Are those the photographs showing the exterior of the crime scene?
Yes.
Your Honor, at this time, we had asked that the 36 photographs of the exterior, which we also have in digital format, be introduced as the next exhibit and seek to introduce to the jury.
You want to publish those?
Publish those, yes. We have them digitally. It shouldn't be very long.
You want to publish?
We do, Judge. Okay, now if we can look at the very first one we have up. Is this the first photograph you normally take, which documents the place, time, the case that these photographs are related to?
Yes.
Going to this one, can you point and touch where the crime scene actually is?
So this is C2 right here.
And then going to the next.
So we're just basically kind of walking around, showing it, the front of the trailer from a different angle, and also the main entrance to the trailer right here.
The bedroom where Johanna Ortega was located, Is that the room that we're seeing right here where the window is?
It is. This is her bedroom right here.
And so that window would actually be the same window that you were talking about that you used as reference points in your crime scene diagram?
Yes.
Moving along.
Okay, now we're just circling around closer to the entrance of the trailer. Now we're on the other side of the entrance toward the back of the trailer looking at the entrance. And then storage shed that sits behind the deck there, and then we're just basically slowly moving around the trailer.
So where are we here?
We're at the rear of the trailer. This is the same window into the master bathroom.
And we can see in this picture that there's actually some tree branches that are hanging over at the top of the frame of the photograph. Is this side of the trailer the closest to the tree line or the farthest away?
Closest.
And looking closely into that window, is a curtain part visible in that picture?
Yes, there's a white curtain in this window, and it's torn right here.
Moving along.
So same window, now we're going to the back side of the trailer.
And when you're looking at this, are you looking to make sure all these other windows are secure?
I am.
And that's that part of the purpose of documenting of the entire portion of the
Yes.
trailer? This back entrance here, did you see any signs of forced entry?
No signs of forced entry, and the door's blocked from the interior.
Moving further to this next photograph.
Same rear door off the laundry room. Okay, now we're just moving toward the front of the trailer, still shooting back that way. Now we're back to the front of the trailer with the bedroom 2's window being right there.
What are you documenting here?
Well, we didn't know what we were dealing with really. There's a tissue right here, what appears to be blood stains on it under this window.
Is that what this photograph is just documenting?
Yeah, mid-range, and now close up.
And here,
Main entrance to the trailer. We knew we were dealing with some type of strangulation. What we didn't know is whose shoes these were or these shoelaces, so that became a point of interest. Now these photographs are showing that there's no physical damage to the point of entry.
and this would be the front door.
It is the front door, so we're showing basically this part of the screen door and then the door frame of the main door. Now we're showing the deadbolt and the doorknobs for that same doorway.
All right, now did you likewise take pictures of the interior of the home?
I did.
And ask you to look at these photographs, just the first couple, and determine if those are accurate photographs.
They are.
And I'm gonna go back a minute, I didn't realize I didn't finish off our last exhibit, so if you can just hold those with you a moment. Here we go. Can you explain what this photograph is?
That's the master bathroom window.
And next photograph?
Sorry. I'm showing a mid-range location of defects to this window.
And next?
This is what I call a pocket rod. It's showing a measurement from the ground to the bottom edge of that window at 6 feet.
Next?
Okay, close up and damage.
Okay, next? What are you showing here?
There's pry marks on the exterior of this window right here.
And then was that in 2 locations?
It is.
Did you see any damage like that on any of the other windows that you examined and documented?
No.
Next? What are you showing here?
There is a defect right here.
Next?
And this is the right side of that same window.
So each side of that window had similar markings
Yes.
at the similar locations?
Yes, for each edge of the window.
And were those markings consistent with being on the opposite side of where the locking mechanism of the window would be?
Yeah, locking mechanism on the interior. This is the exterior.
Next, just showing further another view of that.
Yes.
Next. I think we're back to the beginning now. Going back to those photographs, are those photographs of the interior of the home, of the Ortega home?
Yes.
Your Honor, we asked to make those an exhibit and publish those for the jury as well. We likewise have those in digital format as well. Pulling that over, this I believe would be Exhibit 29. If you could explain these photographs, orient the jury with where you're standing when you're taking this photograph.
Okay. This is one step inside the main entrance to the trailer, looking toward the right, which is going to be bedroom number 2 over here.
So that would actually be the bedroom in which the victim, Joanna Ortega, was found.
Yes.
Next.
This is the table in that very same hallway.
And can we see at the beginning into Joanna's bedroom at this point?
Yes, right here.
What are you documenting here?
A couple of things. This cell phone is interesting too, and we also, this roll of toilet paper at this time.
And was that based on a stain being found?
Yeah, it has a transfer stain on it.
What are we looking at here?
We're doing a relationship photo with the phone and then this blanket.
And was that blanket later collected?
Yes,
And was it referred to and described as being a blue blanket?
I believe so, yes.
Here, are you just showing debris or something that's in the floor?
Yeah, right now we're just showing a mid-range of, right now we don't really know. So this is the door frame of bedroom number 2 and then bathroom number 1 and then just maybe plastic debris right there.
What room are we looking at in here?
This was designated bedroom number 1 because it's the first bedroom you come to. It's on the left, bedroom of a sibling, I believe.
And this bathroom?
The bathroom, as it was found upon my arrival, that's bathroom number 1.
And would this be the bathroom that's in between the 2 children's bedrooms?
Yes,
In between what we just saw, that bedroom, and then the victim's bedroom?
yes.
This is not the bedroom that we were seeing the exterior photographs of?
No,
correct?
no.
Next.
Just documenting the bathroom as we found it, going around. Same thing, shower, that bedroom, looking into the trash can.
And actually, in the trash can, did you see signs of used sanitary napkins and wrappers?
Yes.
Now, where are we?
We're in the living room.
And are you basically on these pictures working your way to take pictures at different angles to cover the entire living room?
Exactly.
And on this particular floor plan, where it was the living room and the kitchen actually an open floor plan.
Right.
And looking to our left, we see an item. What is that wire item there? Do you
This is a bird cage.
remember? And was there actually a bird there?
You know, I don't remember. Yeah, there he is.
There we go. Now, would you be standing in the area looking down the hallway we were looking at before that leads to Joanna's bedroom?
Yeah, now I'm standing in the living room, so this is the main door. I was standing in it before, now I've just backed up a few feet, and yeah, the same hallway.
And again, from this side of the room, documenting the same room we were just looking at.
Correct, just overall photos showing everything as it is.
And all these photographs working our way around the kitchen.
Correct?
And when here, you're taking a picture of a thermometer, of the thermostat. What is that for?
Time of death estimations.
And what room are we in here?
The laundry room, and yeah, there's the rear door we've seen a couple of times from the exterior.
And there's actually a large rolled up rug blocking that access. Is that correct?
Yeah, and some other items down here.
What room are we in here?
We're in the master bedroom.
And working our way around, were you taking pictures and interested in the fact that there was a drawer that was open at that point?
Yeah, that got my attention. Not just that, but you know, there's a water bottle here. Just anything that appears out of place or disturbed.
Working around the room, what door is that right there?
This door goes into the master bath.
And this is the bed in the master bedroom?
Yes,
Now, looking at that pillowcase, the pillow sham decorative kind of quilted looking pillow, is there in fact a matching pillow of that nature on top of Joanna's bed?
yes.
Did you see any signs other than that drawer, any signs that would indicate disturbance in this room?
No,
And this door here behind that table, was that determined to be a closet?
yes,
And here are we looking from the master bedroom back down into the kitchen area?
correct,
And again, the drawer.
yes.
And what are we looking at here?
So the living room is in a little bit of disarray, as you would expect with children in the house, but kind of the focus is this taekwondo or karate belt, and then water bottles.
And were there in fact several taekwondo belts throughout the home?
Oh, yes,
And this is a close-up of that.
yes.
Now, can you explain what the yellow number 4 is?
So yellow number 4 is, I have started designating permanent numbers to go with these items of evidence.
Okay, and so that number 4 would correspond with the number 4 that is on the crime scene diagram.
That's correct.
And can you explain what this photograph is showing?
So this is what is referred to as a transfer stain of what appears to be blood. That's why that package got my attention.
And you're putting that there for scale purposes?
Correct.
And is this a close-up of the pillow that has the matching pillow in the victim's bedroom?
Yes.
And what are you photographing here?
This door, and then see this reddish brown stain right here? That's what I'm documenting.
And now you're documenting it with a scale?
Yes.
Maybe the end of those. Okay, now, moving on to the photographs that you took in the master bathroom. Do you recognize those photographs?
I do?
Your Honor, at this time, we would ask that the photographs of the master bathroom be introduced, and we have a digital copy of that and seek to publish to the jury.
All right, move third.
Can you show us, Ms. Mace, what you are attempting to document and what caught your attention about this particular photograph?
So this is the interior of the window that we've seen a couple of times from the exterior. This is the torn curtain that we've talked about. Also, we have a window sitting in the sink right here.
Going to the next photograph?
This bathroom, at first, honestly, I didn't even think it was in use. I thought it was a storage room. It was the way it was in disarray. But as it turns out, this is a wire rack from a closet that's been knocked over. As you can see, it's kind of leaning against the toilet and right here at this window.
Going to the next photograph?
Okay, relationship photograph showing this window again in relation to this window removed.
And that window that we've been looking at, did Officer Warren Fleek assist you in collecting and processing that particular window?
He did.
And what do we mean by the terminology processing?
So decisions have to be made. Sometimes when you see certain things on items, what do you want from that item? A lot of times we use side lighting to see if it's going to be a fingerprint. Is it going to be something with detail that we can get that way? Is it going to be something that could potentially contain DNA evidence? A decision has to be made. So Officer Fleek made that decision.
Okay. Going to the next photograph?
So what we've determined in this bathroom at this point is just about everything is of interest to us now. So what we're doing is you'll see random things that you would probably consider trash or not of importance at all has gotten our attention because of movement.
And were several of those items later collected and processed?
Yes.
And what is it, can you describe what was of interest in particular about the bottom of this curtain shown in this photograph?
It's pulled off of the rod, it's torn, it's a possible point of entry-exit.
And what are we looking at here?
So if you were looking at that window, this is kind of to the left. This is shower area, got a bunch of clothes and things that originally made me think it was a storage area.
Okay.
Unused shower, things sitting in the shower. Obviously, nobody uses that.
And then what are we looking at here?
So this is the wire rack that I showed you earlier, leaned up against the toilet. No toilet paper roller here, but there's toilet paper in the basket.
Okay. And here you're just documenting the contents.
Yeah, the close-up.
And is that a disinfectant bottle that was beside that?
It is?
Was that later collected
It
as well
was.
to be processed?
Yes.
And why do you do that?
Well, you never know what somebody's going to do. I mean, if I were in that room and I needed to clean something up, or if I had blood on me, if I spilled it, I would pick that up and clean. So nothing was out of the question at this point. Absolutely nothing.
That might be the end of those. Now showing you photographs of the bedroom shared, I believe it's marked as bedroom number 2, shared by Joanna and Jocelyn Ortega. Do you recognize those to be the photographs that you took?
I do.
Your Honor, at this time, we would seek to introduce those photographs. We likewise would seek to introduce the digital pictures and ask to publish those to the jury. If you would tell the jury about where you are standing when you're taking this particular picture.
I'm standing in the doorway, that hallway that we looked at before. So this is the entry to the bedroom. I'm standing right in the entry to that bedroom.
Can you describe what's at the foot of the bed?
A whole lot of clothes, piles of clothes.
And this was the condition you saw it when you walked in.
Yes.
Go to the next photograph, please.
So now from the doorway, we're panning to the left. Now you can see more of the bed. You can also see.
And that window that we were looking at before for frame of reference, that's at the very short edge front of the trailer, is that what you're pointing out now?
It is.
Okay. And you're pointing down in the middle left of that picture. Was there a portion showing where the victim was lying?
Yeah, that's her foot.
Showing the next photograph?
Okay, we're still panning left. You can see the remainder of the bed, dresser, and you can see more of the victim here, her foot, her arms right here.
And the bed, the condition of the bed, can you describe how the mattress and the box springs are positioned relative to one another?
Yeah, so the box springs, of course, being held by the frame of the bed, but the top mattress, it's moved over, pushed over.
And are there items that we're going to view in closer detail on the top of that bed?
Absolutely. So this bed, as y'all can see, it doesn't have any blankets or sheets or anything on it, but you have an iPad, a purse, the crutches, the pillow that we've talked about a couple of times. It matches the one in the master bedroom.
And what do we have immediately to the left that's in the foreground of this particular picture?
Immediately to the left of the foreground.
In the left-hand side of the picture. What type of furniture are we looking at?
Oh, the dresser?
Yes.
Yeah, it's documented in the diagram too, I believe. But so this is the dresser, and then the opposite side of that is going to be a closet door.
Where are you standing, and what part of the room are you documenting here?
I've stepped into the door now. What I'm doing is documenting that there's no damage to this door. This door wasn't kicked in, pried open, or forced that we could tell. blue blanket in the hallway, and then clothes behind the door.
Next photo, please.
A purse, gray purse laying on the bed.
And that purse actually have some writing on it?
It does. I never really understood it, but it's like YA and then SXU. We've got several pin marks on it.
Okay. And next?
Designated a chip bag, Live G free. That was later
And
collected.
that item, the items that are to the left of that bag, can you kind of talk about what that appeared to be and where that was in the room?
So, can we go back to the photo?
Yes.
All right, so here's the foot we saw earlier. This is, if you were lying on the bed, the right side foot corner.
Okay.
So what we're showing here is just mid-range photographs, kind of relationship or how things are located on the bed. So you see the crutches, Flamin' Hot Cheetos bag, an iPod, and then again, we're going to talk about that pillow.
And we have what appears to be a red stain in the middle. What
Here, sorry.
What was done
Yeah.
with that?
So this is what we refer to as bloodstain transfer. Here, you have it here. Several items or locations on the bed.
And could you just explain for the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what was done in order to preserve the evidence that was on this actual mattress?
So that was a big question on how we were going to proceed with that. The first thing was to collect the whole mattress, and then for DNA purposes, because of how we store mattresses, a lot of times out of major crime scenes, it was decided that I took a sterile piece or pair of scissors, and I actually cut the whole top of the mattress out, and I collected it in and of itself as one piece.
Why would you do that? Why would you do it that way as opposed to just keeping the mattress all together? What concerns did you have?
I had temperature concerns, I had environmental concerns. So
Could you explain what you mean by that?
sure. So when I take this mattress and I cut the top of it off, now I have collected a smaller piece of my evidence, the most important piece of it in my opinion, and preserved it in a size bag that can go into the property room where it's temperature controlled and everything's hunky-dory, as opposed to taking this whole mattress, wrapping it as well as I can in paper, taping it, and actually sending it out to a towing lot where it's placed into a storage shed that is absolutely not temperature controlled.
And why would you be concerned about temperature control?
DNA.
And what effect can the temperature have on DNA?
Deterioration.
And did you just leave the rest of the mattress there, or was that also preserved?
Well, we wound up taking the whole thing, we just separated it, and then we actually separated an additional piece to it, the side of the mattress that was closest to Johanna. We wound up cutting that out, taking that as well before we allowed the whole mattress to be taken.
Okay. Going to the next photograph. Is this again documenting the location of the items?
Yes.
Next photo. Can you describe, first of all, where this picture, what part of the room this picture is showing?
So the side of the bed that we were just seeing is the right side of the bed, if you were lying on the bed. Johanna's in the floor on that side. The dresser that we saw in the photograph, this is the mirror to that dresser, and this is the closet door in the corner of the room.
So the corner of that dresser, if we're looking at that dresser, the short side of the dresser, the short corner closest to the the head of the bed,
Yes.
where would that be in relation to the stain?
So, I mean, it's like right above it. Whoops, I don't know what I did there. All right. So it's like right here. This is this is a tight room. This is a big dresser. There's not much room in here. It's pretty close to the edge right here.
Okay. Next photograph, please. What are you showing here?
So basically what I'm showing here is you just have a drip stain. So see right here, this stain was the original side of the stain that hit the wall. You see these dark lines around that stain, that's skeletized staining, and then the drip due to gravity just rolls down the wall.
Get another photo of it. Go forward another. Now, there's an object, and if we can maybe use the pointer to direct you to it, there's like little, looks like a plastic coverings here.
Right.
Can you explain a little bit about the items that you frequently find on a crime scene when there's been an EMT or there've been medical personnel
Yeah.
there to check on the body?
So these things are called leads that EMTs come in and put on the body to see if there's any heart rate, any type of movement, so that they know if this victim needs to be transported, long story short. These are the plastic lead covers. Basically, medical waste is how we refer to them.
Okay, but you still document that as well?
Well, sure.
Okay. And in fact, you don't do anything to disturb the scene or remove anything from the scene without documenting it first,
Right.
correct?
So least invasive to most invasive. Get as much information as you can.
What are we looking at here?
Now I've placed markers. So we talked about in the diagram how the numbers correlate to pieces of evidence. That's what these markers are doing right here.
And those correspond to the diagram.
Yes.
Okay, next.
So closer mid-range view showing overall the bed with the markers placed.
And did these objects here, did that appear to be some of the granola, the contents of this particular bag?
Yeah, or debris of healthy chips or some type of something like that, yes.
Okay. Next. Again, the marker with the bag.
Right, but close-ups now.
Next.
Number 6 with the Live G free bag.
Okay. Next.
Number 8 with the Flaming Cheetos and 7 for the iPod item.
Next.
Okay, now I'm trying to just separate out number 7
Next.
and number 8.
Next. Now we have the S1, the marking in the scale so that it can be correlated with your diagram.
Yes, and documented with the scale for any kind of.
And was actually a DNA sample, a swab for DNA testing collected from S1 so that it could be submitted for DNA analysis.
A sample was collected from stain 1 for possible DNA analysis.
And S1 would be what
Stain
would be the
1.
description that would be written on the bag in order to identify it.
Right. That's like its marker number.
Next. Just up closer.
Right.
Next. Can you describe what you're doing here and what changes have been made to the room?
So
At
the
this
top
point.
mattress is gone. This is day 3, I believe on the 16th. They have noticed some things on the headboard that they wanted documented. So that's what we're doing here. So what you see with these numbers that you notice they changed, they turned into HB2, HB3. So now I'm doing them, instead of doing stains, I'm doing headboard 1, headboard 2, headboard 3. And then,
And so that's what the HB stands for.
Right.
Headboard. Okay.
And
And we go
then-
to the next photo.
So, as you can imagine, this shiny dark surface is quite difficult to photograph. So now I'm having to use satellite and hold the camera, but you can see what I'm focused on is this right here.
Next.
And for headboard stain 3, this area right here.
Next.
And then the relationship between the two, and then this stain right here for 1.
Next.
There's a better picture.
Okay. Next.
Okay, so I have scale tape running here, and you can't see any detail yet. It's basically just the location of the scale.
Next.
Now, what I've done is, because it is so difficult and sidelighting wasn't really working for me, I've added black powder to this so that you can see detail in what I'm trying to show you.
Next. What are you looking at here? What are you?
There's a transfer and smear in this area. So I'm just trying to document that with a scale.
Next.
You'll see several pictures of that if they're all there.
Next. I think that's it. All right. Now I'd like to hand you one photograph, and absent the blue dot to redact a certain portion of the photograph, is that a photograph that you took inside Johanna's bedroom.
It is.
Your Honor, at this time, and does that actually contain a picture of Johanna's face lying in the position you found it, her, in the bedroom?
Yes.
Your Honor, at this time, we'd ask that that photograph be the state's next exhibit and asked to publish to the jury, and I do not have this in a digital format, so if we could have the overhead, please. Now, you agree with me, one reason we do these on the computer oftentimes is because they're easier to see. The lighting of this can affect the ability to tell detail.
Yes, it absolutely does.
And so, when viewed by the jury, not on this device, can you kind of point out what the areas, what they will be able to see?
So, Johanna has a transfer stain on her shoulder right here. She also has transfer impressions covering like the whole right side of her face. As you can see, she's got blood coming from her ears.
Now, you see this area, borrow a pen for just a moment. In addition to having these smaller patterns, can you explain what this is, what this appears to be? Describe what that portion.
It's a transfer impression, we believe to be a shoe.
And the particular right angle portion, I don't know if you can see it on this particular one. Let me hand it back up to you.
So the right angle line on her face could possibly be the corner of that dresser that we've seen.
And when you're looking at the picture there, not under that yellowish light,
Oh,
are
it's-
you
yeah.
much more easily able to see that
Yeah,
demarcation?
she's got obvious ligature marks as well as that impression of a 90-degree corner and a possible shoe
If
impression.
I could have the exhibit back for another moment. Can you describe what you were able to see about the length of Joanna's hair?
It's long and curly. Nothing else was really noted about it.
And looking at this particular picture of the position that you found her, what is between her face and the items on the ground?
Her hair and a bunch of clothes underneath her.
All of these items that we're seeing and underneath here, they were in that position?
Yes.
When you documented her?
Yes.
And can you point out the area where you were describing some of the ligature injury that you could see?
So the ligature injury is very predominant right here on her neck. You can see the lines from it right here too.
Now, in addition to documenting with the diagram and the photographs, were you involved in the collection of certain evidence
Yes,
personally? And do you have your reports in front of you?
I do.
Could you refer to those and just go through the various items that you were involved in yourself personally collecting?
So, okay. So on August the 10th, which turned into August the 11th very quickly,
Wait for a moment while you're saying that. What time did you begin work on August the 10th?
what time did I begin work on this, or what time did I begin
No,
work?
what time did you get up in the morning to
Oh.
get ready to go to work on August the 10th? if
I
you
work the
remember?
evening shift, 14:30, so 2:30 in the afternoon to 11 p.m.
So you go on duty at 2:30.
I do.
Do you know approximately what time you got to the scene?
Approximately 8 o'clock, 8:30.
And do you know approximately what time you left the scene?
12 hours later, I completed this scene at 8 o'clock in the morning.
And did you return back to your office at that point, or did you get to go home at that point?
I slept in the locker room, and then I checked back in. Yeah.
Okay, and checked back in for work
Yeah,
a few hours later?
yeah.
And in addition to waiting to testify, have you actually been similarly going to work and being called out on scenes all this week as well?
Oh, yeah, it's been great.
Okay. Appreciate you being here this morning. Can you go through now, you were talking about your collection of your evidence.
Right, so on the first day, the 10th, so I did, of course, the scene photographs, and a Faro scan was done. Those cards are collected and kept. A set of swabs from the victim's body, her left bicep. Second set of swabs from the victim's body, her right shoulder. A set of swabs from the victim's body, the back of her right hand. And a set of sample swabs from stain 1 you saw, and a set of control swabs, which is basically distilled water used to pick up stains. So that's all I collected on the first day. Officer Fleet did everything else that day.
After that day, did you collect other items?
Oh, yes. So on the 13th, which was a Sunday, we got the blue throw from the hallway. We got the cell phone, the blue lanyard with the library card, marker number 9, the
And is
black
that
shorts.
because, with this being a strangulation case, you're looking for other items that could also be utilized as a ligature?
That's correct.
Okay, go ahead.
Black shorts at marker number 9, as well as a dish towel, water bottle, Kotex wrapper, burgundy shorts, 3 martial arts belts, bedspread, Cars Throw, the movie.
So would that be like kind of like an underling blanket?
Yeah, it was a kid's blanket, but I have to explain the Cars blanket.
Okay.
Multiple water bottles from all over the house, Gatorade bottles, a used paper towel, disinfectant spray that we saw in that bathroom, laptop with a power cord, mouse, and an additional charger, toothpaste, lotion, hair remover, finishing oil,
That would be
anything.
those items that we saw pictures of in the master
Master
bathroom?
bath, yeah.
Okay.
Wrapper from the water, body series box in that master bathroom, the clothes drying rack, 2 reusable gloves, additional water bottles.
And those 2 reusable gloves, would those be like the ones in the kitchen sink area that somebody might use? Do you remember?
You know, they're marker number 30. Let me look at this real quick. Let me tell you what time they were. I don't remember. No, they came out of the kitchen, so I'm gonna say yes.
Okay. And if we have pictures of the kitchen, you should have one with markers on it.
Sure.
Okay.
Let's see, the bathroom window that was on the interior that we saw, additional toothbrush.
So you actually collected the window itself?
We took the window, yes.
Okay, that's good.
A doorbell cover, which we originally thought was a hide key. Hand towels, additional toothbrushes, more SD cards, control swabs, and then we took some additional sample swabs from the kitchen sink, both the cold and the hot, handles, sample swabs from bedroom 2, or bathroom 2, left sink, and hot, cold water on that as well. There's 2 sinks in there, so we did that to both, and that summed up that.
Why do you take samples of the faucet handles?
Just in case anybody tried to clean up or made contact with them, or something we couldn't visibly see could be there.
If I can hand you something. Can you explain what this large rectangular item is?
This is the window out of that master bathroom sink.
That's the one that we've been seeing in the photographs?
Yes,
And was that actually collected and sent to be processed?
yes.
Here at this time, we would ask that the window be introduced as the next exhibit. If I could hand you this next item and ask you what this is and whether or not you collected it.
This is a transfer impression lift. So from, I believe this is going to be the headboard.
The one that we
Look
saw in
at
the
it.
picture? Sure.
Yeah, so it's the headboard transfer impression. I put powder on it to bring out the detail in it, and then I just used tape and lifted it up, took it with me.
And I think it's been open for purposes of viewing, but at the time that you had it, was it in fact sealed up?
Yes.
Okay. If that could be introduced, Your Honor, to the next exhibit. If I could hand you this next item.
Okay. 4 sets of sample swabs marked biohazard.
Okay. And can you tell from your documentation where those samples came from?
I can tell from the property room label where they came from.
Okay, and where is that?
3 of them are off of her body, and 1 of them is off of the wall.
Okay. That could be introduced as the next exhibit, Your Honor.
All right.
And hand you this next exhibit.
6 sets of sample swabs.
And what do you mean by sample swabs?
So I don't really like to call them DNA because it may or may not be present. I call them samples. If they find DNA on them, then so be it.
And does it reflect where those came from?
It does.
And could you share that with the jury?
Sure. So sample swabs from headboard, what was marked 1, 2, and 3. Set of sample swabs midsection. Oh, I also swabbed the railing of the bed, so I think I did that in 3
When you talk about you
sections.
swabbed the railing, can you describe what you did and the location of the railing?
Yeah, so on the picture that we saw of the mattresses where the top one was askew and moved, so that piece of railing that run horizontal there, I swapped 2, 3 sets from it in 3 different sections.
One from each end, the head, the foot, and then the middle?
Correct.
Okay. If that could be introduced as the next exhibit, Your Honor, sample swabs. Hand you the next exhibit. If you could describe that for the ladies and gentlemen of the jury.
6 sets of sample swabs. Okay, so what we have here is the kitchen sink, cold handle, kitchen sink, hot. Bathroom number 2, the cold and hot. And then that was from the right sink and the left sink, so we had a total of 6.
We'd ask that be introduced as the next exhibit, Your Honor. Hand you the next exhibit.
Hand towel from the bathroom sink.
Your Honor, this time we would, let me ask you this, which bathroom sink was that? The master bathroom with the window, or the one that was in between the 2 children's rooms?
It's going to be the master. It's the 13th. That was pretty much the focus of that day.
We'd ask that be introduced as the next exhibit, Your Honor.
The car's throw.
And I don't know if they're a pair of gloves, but could you take and cut that open and just show what the car's throw is so that the jury will be able to see that? In your pictures, a portion of that car throws is available and can be seen, correct?
Sure.
And is it actually underneath part of the body of the victim in this case? Is that correct, Ms.
Sorry.
Mace?
Yes.
The car throw, one of the reasons it was collected was because it was underneath the body of Johanna?
Correct, yeah. This criminal court gloves, not crime scene gloves. Let me just do this.
I think we can get you some disinfectant.
Yeah, it'll be fine. I'm not really germophobic.
You can.
Can I step down?
Sure. Your Honor, may she step down to demonstrate?
So, cars, is that down?
Thank you. Your Honor, this time we would ask that the bag containing the car-themed throw be introduced as the next exhibit.
All right.
And Ms. Mace, I'm going to hand you a larger item. Ask you if you recognize what that is.
Yeah, it's marker number 11, the bedspread.
Okay, and was that located, in fact, underneath the body of Johanna Ortega?
Yes.
If you could do the same thing, open that up, and I'll help you with that, please.
Do you want it out?
Just a little bit, just a portion so we can see the thickness and what color is on the side.
It's folded, so it's folded like this for a reason. You can see the blue. We fold it like this so that if it has any trace evidence on it, it stays inside the blanket.
When you're at this time, we'd ask that that blanket be introduced as the next exhibit. Can you explain what that bag contains?
Marker number 9 from the trailer hallway. It's a LG cell phone.
If that could be introduced as the next exhibit, Your Honor, the LG phone.
All right.
So this is 3 martial arts belts. They were collected collectively because they were together.
And do you remember where those 3 martial art belts?
They were out of
martial
her-
art belts were.
Yeah, they were out of her bedroom, I believe. They're marker number 10. Yeah, toward the foot of the bed, between the foot of the bed and the doorway of the bed.
Okay. So these three belts were not the belt that was underneath Johanna Ortega's body, correct?
Not when we located them,
Okay.
anyway.
Thank you. Ask that that be introduced as the next exhibit, Your Honor.
All right.
Oh, maybe a good idea.
Now for the questions of this witness, Your Honor.
All right, cross.
Ms. Mace, when you arrive on the scene, do you initially talk to other officers and detectives to get an idea of what you might want to look for?
I get an idea of what kind of scene we're dealing with and what's going on and what's going on at that point.
And from that point forward, once the evidence documenting the collection begins, it's then your call to decide what evidence to collect.
No, not really. I have a say in it, but it's between me and investigations.
Okay. And were investigators there on the scene helping direct you to what you should collect that night?
They were.
Did you speak with Detective Chris Halfley that evening? You recall?
Curtis after.
Yes.
Curtis, you know what? I don't remember if I did or not. Talking about the initial night?
Yes, ma'am. You know him to be a cold case detective?
He is.
You recall whether he was there on the scene that night?
I don't.
One of the photographs of the exterior, there's a quick glimpse of what appears to be a chair outside. You recall that chair?
I do.
Did you do anything to document or collect evidence from that chair?
No.
Was that chair near the back window of the master bathroom that we've been discussing?
As I recall, it was in the area, but it might have been maybe around toward the back door side of the trailer. I do remember it being in the area.
Did it appear that officers were using that chair at that point to hold the crime scene tape up with?
You know, it was a long time ago. I'm almost going to say yes, but I couldn't swear to anything.
Okay. But what we do know is that you did document that back window inside and out.
Correct.
Were you the officer that took the swabs from the outside of that bathroom window?
I think the swabs were taken after the window was removed, but I think it was a lab thing. I'm not sure.
But you didn't do that?
I don't recall doing that.
In the photographs that we've seen of that window, it appears that window was closed.
That's right.
And it looks like from your diagram that the base of that window was 6 feet off the ground.
That's correct.
Did you, other than the inside, you said you don't recall taking any swabs on the outside, did you do any fingerprinting on the outside of that window?
Yes.
Did you do any fingerprinting of the chair or swabs of that chair?
No.
Were you made aware that whether any CPR or life-saving efforts had been made on the victim of the
Yeah, I was advised that one of the family members, I don't recall which one, had attempted CPR.
Were you advised that a ligature had been removed by a family member?
Yes.
How many officers had been in and out of that scene before you arrived and locked it down?
My understanding was 2.
Only 2?
That was my understanding.
Would there be a record of that somewhere kept by Metro Police of who all had been on that scene?
That's a patrol function.
That's not something you would do?
Absolutely not.
The bedroom number 2 where Ms. Ortega was found, I mean, you've seen the photographs, but would your assessment be that it was a very messy room?
It was in disarray, yes.
Do you know whether it was in disarray before she was attacked or after she was attacked or when that occurred?
The disarray appeared to be that of 2 teenage girls sharing a room.
It's clear, though, from your photographs that there is bare carpet visible in the room.
There is some, yes.
Is there anything about where Ms. Ortega was found that tells you where she was moved about the room during the attack?
So, without getting into a bunch of bloodstain stuff, the bloodstain transfers tell me some things. The drip on the wall tells me a little bit. She was in that immediate area, on top of the bed and at her point of rest, and she didn't make it any farther.
Do you know whether she was maybe went to the bathroom trying to get away?
No.
How can you be sure of that?
Well, one, she's bleeding and there's no blood outside of that room with the exception of some transfers. She's strangled with a belt around her neck right there at her point of rest. It'd be very unlikely she ever left that room.
But possible.
Possible, not probable, yes.
The door to the bathroom, the master bathroom, the photograph you took, it was closed. Did you close that door to photograph it, or was it already closed?
No, that's the way it was found.
Do you know if any other officers had been in that bathroom?
I do not. I know the house was, well, the trailer was cleared prior to my arrival, but how they did that and what steps they took, I couldn't tell you.
In the photograph of her face, you said you believed that it looked like the corner of the dresser. It was a mark on her face.
I say there's a 90-degree impression consistent with the corner of a dresser.
So she would have at least been moved from the bed to the dresser or somewhere about the room.
Well, I don't know if she was moved as much in a standing position and her face forced down on that corner.
And the clothes that were on the floor, any way of telling how long they'd been on that floor?
No.
Any way of telling if they had been on the floor, picked up, worn, put back on the floor, washed in between, anything like that?
Other than, I guess, investigations talking to her sister, I can't imagine there'd be any other way to know.
Did you collect any of those, besides the items we've seen here today, all the clothing that was around and about that room? Did you swab or collect any of that other to look for other evidence?
I don't know if we went over the property sheet from my third day. Let me look before I answer that question. Okay. So there was additional hoodie that was collected, a tape roll that was white cardboard, an additional iPad type Samsung. What else? There was clothing collected, jean overall skirt, and the swabs from, so, yeah, there was some additional stuff other than what we covered.
Do you know whether those items were eventually processed to see if there was any evidence on those?
I don't,
That been outside of your,
that's outside my purview.
so you were asked to come back about 3 days later and take some swabs off the headboard.
Yeah, that was on the 16th.
As part of the investigation, were you made aware of the findings of that headboard swab?
No, I don't really hear about a case again once I clear it until we get to this stage.
If a unknown partial male DNA profile had been developed from that headboard, could you have gone back to try to get more evidence to get a complete profile?
I don't know what the final disposition of that headboard was, so we didn't collect that headboard. I didn't.
Do you know how long that scene was kept secured?
From the 10th date of incident to the 16th it was secure. I couldn't advise after that.
So you didn't, once the headboard was swabbed, as far as you know, you didn't collect it and take it home as evidence?
I didn't, no.
But if other officers had, there would have been nothing to prevent you from coming back and swabbing it again?
Yes.
That's all.
Read it right.
None, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Excuse me. Who is your next witness?
Next would be Kayla Fulton, Your Honor.
What kind of witness is that?
She is also a, basically a crime scene technician, so a few photographs, and some property that she collected.
Okay, I see her on here. We're gonna go ahead and take a break and then we'll bring her in.
Thank you, Your Honor.
15-minute recess.
All rise.